very much for joining us. Today we're going to be finding out a little bit more about our network and hearing that directly from some of our BSO experts. So I'm really pleased to be joined today by Tony Jones, our Head of Low Latency Strategy, and Louis Gouillard, one of our top pre-sales consultants at BSO. So I'm going to get us started with a nice, easy question, I hope. Tony, what makes you passionate about working at BSO?
Well, I think that is an easy question, Virginia. Ultimately, the ability to put your own footprint or imprint onto something that is unique, that is challenging, but very rewarding, ultimately drives me forward every day, and it makes me excited to get out of bed every day.
That's good to hear. You've been here quite a while now, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been with BSO for 10 years, a number of different roles, but for the last 3 years, I've headed up our low latency strategy. It comes with its challenges, but it's a very unique role, and as I said, it's ever changing, and very exciting.
Great, thank you very much, Tony. Louis, over to you. What makes you passionate about being at BSO?
I would totally agree with Tony, and one of the other facts is that the solution itself is challenging, and our customers are always asking for improvements, for a solution that is relevant at one time, but in the 1 month or 2 months needs to be improved. And that's what drives me as well as a pre-sales to move forward with the solutions and find new objectives and new footprints.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what low latency actually is and how it impacts our customers?
Latency topic is a topic that impacts every type of companies, every type of market. It's just that some markets have different sensors with regards to the latency. So, like same as for a car, you have manufacturers that build cars with an objective of mile range, and F1 cars are built for speed. So it's pretty much the same in low latency. You have in telecommunication, you have the same feeling where you have different objectives depending on the industry.
What I would say as well is that low latency is driven often and not by the end client or the end user. They will be able to determine what is fit for purpose for them. We act in a very consultative approach to our clients. So we take the feedback, we understand their needs, and then we go and drive the market fundamentally from a latency perspective.
Obviously, you've got lots of experience from a pre-sales perspective and working very closely with our customers. What makes BSO equipped to cater for both ultra low latency and low latency? And is there anything that we need in terms of the type of customer that we are able to support, or can we just support any type of customer?
So initially BSO built his network in order to be ultra low latency, or having at least either the fastest path there was in the market, but if not, we would look for the second fastest path. Because as I said before, and as you said, what you have at one moment might not be relevant in a month or 2 months time. So we first started with fastest path, then catered for other services, other routes, either second fastest or diverse routes. And in the end, you build on several flavors of latency, and that's how we cater for other type of markets as well, going from ultra low to low latency and then to diverse markets.
And I would add to that actually, the BSO, the reason why BSO is well equipped is I had 3 points. So experience, we've been doing this now for 15 years. Our reach, our coverage, we're a global network provider, so therefore we're used to challenging environments, different environments, new markets, existing markets. And thirdly, and most importantly, is our customers. We have very demanding clients, quite rightly so, and as such, they drive us forward in making sure that we are market leaders or experts in this field in being able to deliver unique, bespoke, low latency solutions.
And to add to that, Tony said we have a consultative approach, and knowing every part of the globe is very difficult, and we have people that are here and there asking for local feedbacks or local inputs in order to then feed our customers, and they rely on that knowledge that we've been having for 15 years and we continue to get.
You mentioned challenges. So are there any challenges in particular that you face in your role?
Many. To name a few, managing the delta between our supply base and our client base, making sure that we find fit for purpose solutions. It's no good just having the fastest route. You have to make sure that availability and diversity are critical. Making sure that we get a return on our investment, and ultimately making sure that we are able to drive customer excellence. You never stand still in this world, and therefore as soon as you are the fastest on the market, you have a target on your back, and it's making sure you don't stand still and you continue to move forward.
And that target is something that you want to keep on your back, but also there are loads of secrets around the solutions, or it's mainly proprietary solutions, so you can't go out and say I've got this and that and explain everything. So there is that trust between the providers and us, the customers and us, in order to say, okay, I trust you, you have the right solution, you can do what you say, and ultimately it's going to work for us. But you can't be fully transparent, and you need to have that commitment between the customer and us in order to make it work.
And obviously customers are core to us. So what kind of challenges do you see our customers face, Tony?
So if you take the financial industry, they are constantly in need of the lowest latency, so therefore they have competition in their own space. They need to understand whether they're relevant within that particular route or that particular trading route. So their challenges are similar to ours, remaining relevant, making sure they get a return on their investment, making sure that they have robust, fully diverse solutions that have high availability, and ultimately making sure that they have a trustworthy partner like BSO.
And to add to that, if you're comparing with the gaming industry, for instance, the low latency game is in order to improve the experience of the end user, so the gaming experience of the end user. So at some point, you are limited by what the end user can feel and how fast he can act, not by the technology itself, but by the human. So the human error, let's say, is in the middle ground. And for them, it's a challenge to find the right point, the right sensor between costs and reliability and low latency. So it's always a moving sensor, and it's challenging for everyone.
That makes perfect sense. So from a forward-looking perspective, where do you see the market evolving in the next 5 years, and from a low latency perspective, whether it be how it's going to be set up, but also the needs? Let's start with you, Louis.
I feel like with the health industry, the more and more data we have, the more and more data we're going to have to analyze and treat and make use of it. We are already making use of it, but if you look at your watch that is securing listening to your heartbeat and potentially sending that to an hospital or anywhere else, I feel like at some point we're going to have live connections between those, and that's where the low latency will be very important. It can go through 4G or 5G or something else, but it's going to be driven by that.
Yeah, I think, again, if you look at the changes, technology will drive change for sure. Historically, there have been two mediums as transport, fiber optic and RF technology. I see changes in both occurring, so lower latency switching, as I've mentioned before, the ability to have faster radios for the RF technology, but I also see low orbit satellite playing a part in the not too distant future. The technology is already on the ground, or in the air, so to speak. And then from a user perspective, an end user, I agree with Louis, ultimately, or historically, it's been organizations that have looked to make use of low latency solutions. I see the end user changing a little bit, or certainly widening, and I see the individual playing a more important role, and therefore the requirement for bandwidth at a low latency is going to be critical. Again, historically, it tended to be lower bandwidth, lower latency, but I see now that the requirement for higher bandwidth at a lower latency is going to be critical moving forward.
Absolutely. I mean, if we look at how we use technology today, the number of videos that we stream and all those different things, it's just the need for that low latency is just going to keep growing.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. I found that enlightening. I hope our viewers did as well. And I think if you want to get in touch with us in any way, you can obviously contact us on our website or via email at hello@bso.co. Thank you so much. And thank you very much, Tony and Louis.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.